Dan, Joel, Zion, Markim. Nickelodeon once ran one of the greatest stories on television of an avatar who had to bring balance to the world. Then, everything changed when M. Night Shyamalan attacked. The creators of Avatar made Legend of Korra for our viewing pleasure. But, when the world needed them the most, they vanished. 15 years have passed and I have created a new podcast, The Order of the White Lotus. And although our podcasting skills are great, we have a lot to learn before we save anyone. But I believe we can save the world. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome all to a brand new show underneath the Chopping It Down network called The Order of the White Lotus, where we have me, Daniel Rivera, we have Joel, Zion, and Markim in the building talking everything Avatar: The Last Airbender all the way to Legend of Korra. And hopefully by the time we get through those two, the Netflix series will be out. And I'm so excited for this. This is a brand new show, a brand new topic, you know, getting away a little bit from Chopping It Down. Just dedicating our time to this whole universe that the Avatar creators have built for us. How are you guys feeling today?
Feeling great.
It's good. It's
Wait,
great,
I have a question for you guys. If you guys were a bender, what bender would you be?
Air.
Ooh.
Okay, so I already have to choose water, but okay.
Can we go on the reasons why though?
Why I want to be a waterbender?
Yeah. Like why you want to be water? Why do I want to be air? You know?
There's
Okay.
super. Okay, yeah. Okay, we'll start with Markim. Okay.
All right. All right. So air it's everywhere. It's multi-accessible. You can literally air is very versatile.
You're not wrong.
Like
Yeah.
probably more than the others. I'm not saying fire isn't versatile by any means. I'm not saying earth isn't. Sorry. But air is just super tactile. It's peaceful. I don't know. I've always vibed with it.
One thing I don't like about air is I think it's a little bit too defensive. Like every time Aang airbends, he's always running.
Because he's a monk.
That's true.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Monks are peaceful.
They're pacifists.
Okay. That's true. All right, I didn't take that into account.
Trust me, when we get deeper into Legend of Korra, you'll find out how
you'll see.
violent air can be when you put it into the wrong hands.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
It's really overpowered.
So I would want to be Earth because I just love the stances, the forms. I love just the stubbornness and the kind of feeling that you have to have in order to bend rock and eventually metal.
Yes.
And, I don't know, like just the attitude with it, like the showmanship that you can do with
I'm
Earth
on the same page
is just-
as you, man. That's exactly why I want to be an earthbender.
Oh, dude, it's like it just seems so strong and so
their
like,
fighting
powerful.
stances.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's like the fighting stances are what really get me, like the forms and stuff like that.
But then you also get metal bending on top of it, and if you're lucky, lava bending.
Yeah. If you're lucky.
Yeah,
That's
you guys-
just
if
so
you're lucky,
rare.
yeah, you get all these traits if you have the good family genes. So
What about you, Zion?
Honestly, I think I would be a firebender. If I'm not the Avatar, I'd definitely be the firebender. Only because one of my zodiac sign is a fire element sign.
Okay, I can see it as a
So
firebender.
I feel like I'd be able to. I'd be one of those controllers that has if fire is in the wrong hands, it could be destructible. But if it's
Yes.
just like any element, pretty much. But I think fire is the worst one, especially if it's in the wrong
yeah,
hands.
fire is
It
definitely
has such a bad name behind it.
Right.
To be
Yeah.
honest, I don't know. Water could be pretty destructive too.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
But the reason, so I think I would be obviously on the opposite side of that spectrum where I'm just a good overall firebender, like good spirit, whatever.
Yeah.
And just like how General Iroh was.
Okay,
yeah.
we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Just using it for its good purpose.
Yeah, and you
I
get
feel
to bend lightning too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I really
Which
do.
is
No
weird.
offense,
Which is
Airbender.
really weird if you think about it.
It is really weird.
Yeah.
Lightning is like very, very powerful.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say it's a category of fire.
should
It's
though.
very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can start fires.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's just like such a weird thing. Like
It
you
is,
shoot
yeah.
lightning. Like I'm a person that doesn't like to get shocked, So you can miss me with that. Like the less lightning I'm around, the better.
Right.
Unironically, lightning is like one of my like aesthetics. I love looking at like pictures
really?
of lightning
Yeah.
and everything. That would probably be like my second element, realistically.
fire.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fire is dope.
All right. What about you, Joel?
You just said it.
Oh,
Earth.
yeah,
yeah.
But you
Wow.
didn't say why.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was the
you
same
did?
reason.
The same
Yeah, we
reason
basically
why-
just
Oh,
bounced
my
off
bad.
each
My
other,
bad.
yeah.
All right. You got it.
All right, so the format for this podcast is we all as a unit are going to be watching 2 episodes each podcast, and we're going to be giving our reactions. We're going to be taking notes while we're doing it and just making observations on why this show is so great and so beloved, as a whole other lot of people share the same opinion with us.
Right. And it's amazing how this series was first introduced in 2005.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
Yeah.
it's
still
been
such
15
a
years since the show came out, and it
Right.
still has such a lasting impact on
So great.
Culture.
who's ever watched it.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's top 5.
And it is one of the best stories ever told too. And who knows what other like directors or big time movie makers have taken like inspiration from this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like it's definitely a possibility.
Maybe
'Cause
other
you s-
anime.
Yeah, other animes too.
You see a lot of elements in this show that can make it into big time movie budgets.
Right.
That, unfortunately M. Night Shyamalan didn't do that so well. He had it and he lost it, but we'll talk about that at a later date. But right now we just want to focus on the first 2 episodes, and the first episode of the Last Airbender is called Boy in the Iceberg. And the way it opens up, it tells a brief story on, how the Fire Nation has taken over trying to take over all 4 nations, trying to make them just one big nation underneath the Fire Lord. And, the Avatar has been missing for 100 years, and, he's our last hope. He's the guy or the girl who can, make sure that the Fire Nation doesn't take over and become just a big time threat to everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
They want, the Avatar needs to bring balance back to the world.
Yes.
Right. And
Keyword
the
balance.
introduction of Aang is, I think, it's so obviously every anime kind of has that moment, an entry moment, right? When
Yeah.
someone comes in, it's like a big deal. I would say they did the entry. It was pretty good.
Yeah, because
They
you got to
did it
remember,
justice.
Avatar Aang, he is still a kid. What is he,
He's
like
a
12?
he's a
Right.
12
Yeah, he's
year old
12.
He's 12, and he's been frozen, and he was so afraid to be the Avatar that he has no idea that the Fire Nation has been doing what they've been doing these past 100 years since he's been gone. We'll get into the more lore about that in a later episode, but right now all we know is that Aang is just a kid who froze himself out of fear. He's back. He sees this beautiful girl named Katara. Sees her brother, and like, oh my God, they're close to my age. Do you guys want to have some fun? Like,
Right.
And-
So,
Yeah.
his childlike instincts are still obviously going to be intact, I guess.
Yeah.
yes.
He's not going to be as mature as, one would hope.
Right. And as soon as we see him come out the iceberg, we get introduced to the main antagonist of the show until later, named Zuko. And we also get to meet his uncle, Iroh, who is my
Put some
favorite
respect
character.
on his name.
My
His
favorite
name is
character
Prince
also.
Zuko.
He's
Aw.
well, first of all, technically
he's-
he is a prince,
Yeah,
but he's
yes.
banished.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a banished prince.
But
He's still Prince Zuko.
Nah.
Well,
They
if
still,
you're banned,
but they still refer to him as Prince Zuko.
Yes.
Yeah,
You're right.
but like if he was to go back, he would not be welcomed.
Well, I feel like they only refer to him as Prince Zuko because of like the fear, I suppose.
Right, sure.
right,
and, like-
we don't know why he's banished yet either.
Right.
Yeah.
We
And
don't
he has
even
a-
we don't even really know his motive yet. To
Yeah,
be
no.
honest, we just know that he wants to find the Avatar, and
Yes.
he will do anything necessary, including traveling all the way down to the South Pole.
And how convenient that was.
Yeah, right. At the same time,
Convenience.
hey, but you know what? We learn later in this series that the intertwining of destinies
Oh,
is
yeah.
not uncommon.
For
at all.
sure.
It's
Like,
not
that
accidental.
happens all the time, and they explain it. But right now, we get introduced to Aang. He opens his eyes for the first time in 100 years. The first thing he sees is Katara. Love at first sight.
Love at first
Right
sight.
away. Sees a beautiful girl. Will you go planning anything with me? Like, that's it. The childlike instincts kick in, and he just wants to have some fun. And Katara, being the open and responsive force that she is, she's like, okay, like we'll do whatever we take, we'll do whatever we can to make sure that you're comfortable and you have everything you need down here. And then you have Katara's brother Sokka, who is the complete opposite of
Yes.
Katara.
He's very defensive over her.
He wants
over
nothing.
anything.
He wants nothing to do with this kid. He thinks this kid is going to bring danger. He's very used to this tribe life in the South Pole, and he just wants to, maintain order. He doesn't want this goofy kid and this big bison that he brought with him.
He's pretty traditional.
Messing up the life of what they have in the South Pole. They got it pretty good right now.
It's kind of not his fault though, because I assume they explain it a little bit later on in this episode, but like his father had to leave. His father was the leader of the tribe. He had to leave, and he left Sokka in charge. Sokka at 12 years old in charge of like the entire village, and Sokka's the only like adult there besides their grandmother.
Adult male.
Yeah,
Everyone
adult male.
else
Thank
is
you.
like elderly woman, including their grand. We don't even know what their mom's at.
Nope.
But yeah, he just feels invaded, and that's just natural instinct.
Right. A stranger walks into their space and Sokka feels threatened. No matter how small the kid is or anything, he's just afraid of things falling out of balance.
He's a wolf.
He's a lone wolf. And we'll see that more in the series. We'll see him come to terms with himself, but right now he's very defensive of his family and his sister, and we see that right now.
Yeah.
And not to mention, Katara is also a waterbender, so she is inherently the strongest in the tribe, but she doesn't have the confidence yet to realize this. So right away, she takes a liking to Aang because she sees that he's a bender, and that there's something special with this kid. And he's like, oh, well, you can take me to the North Pole so I can learn waterbending. You have this big flying bison, and you're like all jumpy and
trying to
excited.
explore,
Let's
yeah.
go on an adventure, right?
Yeah.
So that's why Katara takes such a liking, and Sokka is still, like, I don't
Right
know if
away
you should
she's
do
ready
that.
to go.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you should do this. Let's introduce him to the family. I don't know about that. But
To an extent, Sokka only wants what's best for the tribe, but
Yeah.
right.
Which is understandable.
he means well.
As a non-bender, he can only do so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's got some skill with, the boomerang. He's got a spear. He's got a club. But other than that, he really doesn't have a lot. So that's why when he sees his sister, just use her waterbending just for nothing, to catch a fish, or, she's the one that caused the iceberg to fall out. Sokka feels already like, wow, like my sister can do so much. I don't know if I can be the leader.
Well, he's also, keep in mind that they're not, like, she's not supposed to be waterbending because remember the Fire Nation is, doesn't want there to be any other bending.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So
They just
when he
want
sees her
fire.
waterbending, he's obviously going to be concerned,
Right.
right?
That's
Because
true.
they originally came to their village to, which I don't think that was even.
But we don't find that out
Yeah,
yet.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
right,
yeah,
okay.
not yet. I don't think
Yeah.
that's until like season 2.
Okay.
Yeah, we get more backstory on what happens to
Right,
the
right.
Actually,
Southern Water Tribe.
season 3.
Because as we'll see in the future, Northern Water Tribe is huge.
Yes,
And
yeah.
Southern Water
Son.
Tribe is like
A pesky little village.
5 igloos and a campfire. That's
Yeah.
it.
It's crazy because like there's a lot of I'd say nationalism in the show. Like the Southern Water Tribe is regarded as like peasants.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
multiple times they're called peasants, lowly, and it's just like crazy. It's like
Yeah. I
bro.
mean, just think about the lifestyle. They're hunters, they're fishers. Sokka. Right in the beginning of the episode, we see Sokka and Katara looking for food, and they're the
Yeah.
only ones. Other than that, you've got children living in the village. You got the elderly that they have to take care of. They're basically running that village by themselves.
Yeah.
Granted, it's not a big village, but when they get up to the Northern Water Tribe, they're gonna see like, wow, this is completely different. And even like going to the Southern Air Temples and the journey to get to the Northern Water Tribe, they'll see that their life in this little tiny village is a fraction of what other people are experiencing out in the world. And also in the episode, right away, we get Aang, experiencing some nightmares, dealing with the fact that he's the Avatar. He hasn't told Katara or Sokka yet, and he still just wants to keep that part of his life hidden. He's a young kid, and he had to do these Avatar duties at a young age because of this looming threat of the Fire Nation. So instead, he just froze himself in this iceberg near the Southern Water Tribe, and he regrets this decision a little bit. You can tell because he's having these nightmares. And Katara, being the awesome caretaker that she is always there to make sure that he has what he needs, is that he's feeling okay.
I feel like reverting back to what you were saying about Aang phrasing himself up, I don't think he did it near the southern.
He didn't. It was.
I think he drifted over there.
Yeah, because it was almost like right when he left the air temple.
Yeah.
And
the Southern Air Temple is near the Southern Water Tribe.
That is also true. So I mean,
he definitely did drift.
Yeah.
But who knows how far and for how long? You know.
Because it was 100 years.
Yeah, it's
a long time. But the thing
what else
is,
you got?
also, he doesn't know that.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't know that it's been 100 years yet. So we kind of have, when you watch the show again, you realize that Aang
is oblivious.
Yes, is oblivious to everything around him. He's like, wow, nothing's really changed. There's no been like new technology developments or anything like that. It's been the same as it was 100 years ago. So it's very hard for him to tell. He'll learn more and more as the story goes along of how technology has changed. Ships and these tanks and these different kind of weaponry that the Fire Nation used. But right now he's just living it up. He thinks he's been frozen for like a week.
Yeah, he said a few days.
Few days. Yeah. So, right. He did say that. So.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, I thought it was a few days," and he's
just like, no. Because that's when they talk about the war, and then he's like, "What war? I don't remember any."
That's
there's no war yet.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Zion?
I was gonna ask Dan what else he has in his notes.
Oh, so also Katara Katara is definitely one of the central forces in these opening episodes because she just has a really nice backstory to who she is. She's just the grounding force for this water tribe. Like, as much as Sokka is the leader, he teaches the children how to fight. She's really the one that keeps everything mellow and balanced, and is the only one so far that has faith in Aang. Obviously, other than the kids, because the kids just think Aang is funny.
Yeah,
Aang is going to be a big comical force throughout the series, especially in the opening episodes. He's just he's borderline comic relief. But Katara, definitely the one with the most potential. We see her waterbending straight out the gate, how strong she is. Really goes to show the developers and creators of the show looking at woman empowerment at these beginning episodes, because they already made, she's the strongest character we've seen, so far. She broke a whole iceberg just by getting mad.
Yeah.
Right.
And Sokka is that condescending, almost pretty much sexist part of
there
the
is
show.
no borderline. He is he is
sexist part of the show that it's like, oh, women are only supposed to do this, and then Sokka's gonna learn real quick how women are some of the most powerful people in the show.
Yeah.
Now that we're looking at this, it brings me to Zuko.
Yes, Zuko and
Zuko
Iroh's
early
relationship.
episode 1. Yeah, Zuko and Iroh's relationship. What was that?
Sorry, that was that moving.
Anyway, sorry. Zuko and Iroh's relationship in the first episode, you can clearly see that Zuko does not respect his uncle in any way, shape, or form because of what happens later on. As we learn more about the characters, you get to see why it's like that. But Zuko's very stubborn. He's arrogant. He's very prideful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right away we see Zuko and Iroh already clashing heads. Zuko is a very angry kind of guy. He has a lot of hate in his heart. You can see it right away. It doesn't take massive observation skills to see that Zuko is just mad. He's just angry. And you have Iroh, who's very calm. He's very he's a grounding force for Zuko. Whenever Zuko gets too much out of hand, Iroh's there no, you can't do that. It's you have to keep a level head. If you want to get far in this life, you have to, you can't let anger control you. You can't let your emotions control you. And we'll see that relationship develop as the series goes on.
He even explained it when he was teaching him firebending in a way, because he was like, "Oh, you're using force. You're not supposed to use force. It comes from your breath,
right?
And yourself. It
doesn't matter how angry you are. It just it matters how calm you are, and you'll get stronger because of that." But Zuko was raised, as we'll see later, Zuko was raised in an environment filled with condescending people, hostile
So
environment, hatred in a lot of people's hearts, and just looking down on him. And he already seems to be going through a redemption story by trying to locate the Avatar. Why? We don't know yet, but we're gonna find out pretty soon, because in the next few episodes we find out why Zuko was banished from the Fire Nation and why he's just chilling with his uncle to look for the Avatar. And then at the end of the episode, we get a cool little cliffhanger, as all pilots should do.
Absolutely.
Him and Aang and Katara go into an abandoned Fire Nation ship. Why is that Fire Nation ship there? We don't know yet. But
I was about to say, and I was like, yeah, we don't know yet.
They go inside, and we already see Aang's and Katara's almost lust for adventure and their curiosity that leads them into these different situations. They clearly just want something more out of life, so they're willing to go through some risks. We see that right away, and then they get booby-trapped. They get trapped in a jail cell, and a flare goes off, and that lets Zuko know to come to that village because something is there. And then he sees in the binoculars that he sees Aang, and he knows that Aang is that. He knows that someone with airbending tattoos has to be the Avatar. So
Yeah.
he hones in, and he heads straight toward the Southern Water Tribe, and that's how episode 1 ends.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a great pilot, as all TV shows have great pilots. Breaking Bad. I don't know. You just have to have a really good
Yeah.
pilot, and Avatar: The Last Airbender definitely shows what a good pilot.
Kind of
is.
reminds me of Steven Universe.
Oh, dude, Steven Universe.
Like the pilot? Yeah.
We get a great introduction to a character. We get a great introduction to our side characters. We have a motivation for the villains, and we have a grounding force for that villain to make sure he doesn't get out of hand. And we have a good reason why, all this stuff is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a great first episode too.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you guys? Was there anything you guys learned or picked up from episode 1 by any chance?
Aside from, I was gonna bring up the whole Zuko. You guys realize that Zuko doesn't know that Aang is a kid.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
looking
right.
for like 100-year-old
He's
man.
looking for 112-year-old man, and he has no entire idea that he's a kid.
Yeah.
He's very like it goes back to what I was saying earlier. He's very ignorant. He can be very prideful. He's just filled with a lot of raw emotions that just cloud his mind. And he didn't even stop to think, oh well, it could be a kid.
Right. Zuko's judgment is very clouded.
Yeah.
Just
Well, I don't
filled
think
with anger.
was anyone in the series expecting that. Because one, I'm surprised anyone thought that the Avatar would live.
No,
100
I don't
years
think
anyway.
that anyone was expecting it, but it's just the fact that Zuko was 100% sure that was the only scenario.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
He didn't open his mind to the other possibilities
Yeah.
that
Right.
okay, maybe this isn't who I am thinking of.
So that caps off episode 1. So we go straight into episode 2. I don't know the title of it. Did you guys see the title
This
of
is
it?
You could
the
just show
Avatar
us.
Returns.
Avatar Returns.
Avatar
Yeah.
Returns. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the Avatar Returns. So in this episode, we see Aang trying to run away, as will be a common thread
Well,
throughout
he's-
the first season.
Right. So
Yeah.
he's running away because
He's not
he
welcome
pretty
to
much him and Katara, with the cliffhanger from episode 1, made a mistake in going into the Fire Nation ship and
Yeah.
letting off a booby trap, pretty much signaling that there's a
Something
Fire
is
And we
Nation
hear
ship there.
because the Southern Water Tribe is also kind of hidden.
Right.
Yep.
You can't really see it. So that automatically just notified everybody that in the vicinity that we're right here.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
come get us.
And then they went back to the village, and obviously Sokka, being the protective one, completely
sets
goes
up
off
She
on
basically
Aang.
banishes Aang from the Southern Water Tribe
Yeah.
He gets
in order
ready.
to protect, his
Right.
family.
And it looks like he instantly knew he's gonna have to.
Yeah, there was
Go
no
to-
details giving
definitely.
out that they were actually coming, but he was like, I got to get ready. Something's going to
yeah.
happen.
Yeah,
Man's
he-
put on his war mask.
Yeah,
Boy was with
his
it.
face paint. He's got his whole outfit on. He's ready to take over. We also see a nice, dude. I love when we do comparison shots because we have Sokka gearing up himself, And then we have Zuko getting geared up by his soldiers. So we already know that Sokka is very independent. Sokka knows what to do. Zuko is very reliant on other people to do things for him.
Right.
And he's just going to be the guy to lead the charge
Right.
and just do what he has to do.
Subtle hints.
Yeah, I
that.
love, dude.
Yeah, I love
that.
subtlety.
And I love how Sokka, like, he wasn't afraid to step up either, right?
No.
He consistently wants to try to make his father proud in any way possible. And obviously we don't know what happens to his father yet, but we know that he's just a kid filled with a lot of pride.
Right.
Yeah, because he knew firebenders were gonna come to attack. Well, he had an
Right.
idea
And
of it, and he
exactly.
still came up and like step up to the
Right.
challenge. He wasn't
scared.
afraid. No,
Exactly. He even told the little kids, all right, we're about to go to war.
Yeah,
Get ready.
he was
Okay.
right in line too.
I mean, we see a good scenery shot.
Word.
Sokka just standing on his, little ice tower, and all of a sudden a big Fire Nation ship comes and looming in the distance, and Sokka, being the brave man he is, tries to stand his ground for as long as possible, but he eventually wisens up and retreats.
I mean, I was gonna say, I lost my train of thought actually.
Be like that dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you see
Yeah.
Sokka. Not like he retreats only when the door opens.
Yeah, like-
so he doesn't get crushed. Other than that, he's standing his ground to the very end.
I was gonna say his father tasked him with the protection of the village,
Right.
and he sees that as I must do any means possible. It doesn't mean if I am outnumbered. It doesn't mean if I'm like outmatched. He has to do
He
whatever
has to do whatever he needs to do.
Yeah, and that's great. Like
Spirit.
character insight. Yeah.
Yeah, so right away, Zuko's looking for, his prize. Sokka challenges him, and we see Sokka is not good
At all.
He
Very
gets-
inexperienced.
He gets bodied by Zuko, who, barely uses his own bending. But, Sokka, it just goes to show that Sokka has been preparing all his life, for a chance to battle. But he just hasn't fought a lot of people, so he just doesn't have the experience for it. And then Aang wisens up, sees that they're being threatened by a Fire Nation ship, and he goes back and saves the village.
And that that entrance wasn't that great.
That was funny though, because like in the last episode, he talks about like we can fight war with fun, and then he like beats Zuko or knocks him down while
With a
sliding a penguin.
penguin, yeah.
An otter penguin.
Otter penguin, yes.
Otter penguin, yes.
Yeah, we come to realize that all the animals are mixed with other animals in the show.
My
Except-
favorite,
Except for
actually,
A future animal that we'll talk about later.
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, so we see right away that Aang is, not afraid to step up to this firebender to protect people he loves. And that's a great character trait that Aang has that we'll see throughout the rest of the series. And this is the part where Zuko thinks that he's a 112-year-old man.
Yep.
But Aang clearly shows that he's a kid, and Zuko thinks that this battle is going to be super easy. And Aang, never really fought firebender before, is very inexperienced at dealing with fire. So he, instead of trying to fight back, putting everyone in the village in danger, he decides to give himself up as, Zuko will stop fighting, being a man of honor, and take him as his prisoner on his ship, protecting the village.
he kept his word.
Such
Right.
an avatar
Right.
kind of thing.
But
to do.
Aang, being the little sly, clever dog that he is, he's definitely going to find a way to get off this ship. And
Yo, I love
yeah,
the
because-
rescue missions in Avatar.
Yes.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
there's
they're
a lot,
really
and
nice.
They're all. I think they're
all
all
really good.
They all are very good.
right, they all have a good sense of tension.
Right. Right.
Like we don't truly know. This is a kids show, so they can only do so much. But everyone truly knows that we no one really knows what's going to happen.
Right.
Exactly.
This thing can happen that turns this chain of events. So I like the way they do. These we got to go save this person. And,
Those are always good.
and Katara, believing that Aang can, bring her to new heights in the North Pole, she starts, gathering materials and, gets a good mindset on going and rescuing Aang. And she also has to convince Sokka a little bit, but Sokka just got his butt kicked. So Sokka's like, you know what? I really got nothing else better to do. So
Yeah, Sokka was already prepared. He was like,
Sokka's already got
yeah,
a boat, got
yeah.
some supplies. They're all set to go try to get him.
Talk about the quick change of heart
Right.
within Sokka too. Again, that takes a
Yeah.
lot of pride.
But he didn't want nothing to do with Aang, and now he's out here getting ready to go save him.
See, like that's the subtle like changes that Avatar does over the course of the show. Like that wasn't like, I wouldn't say it wasn't like a major change, but like him doing that for his sister,
Absolutely.
and you know, for the sake of just being a good person, you know, it's very
Right.
good.
I love the dynamic between those two, and obviously we're going to see it a lot more how they can both contribute something to the table. Even though Sokka's not a bender per se, but he brings a lot of
He's
knowledge
he's
or-
intelligent.
Yes,
he's-
correct.
yeah.
And they're
Yes.
they both are too.
Yeah,
Katara shows her intelligence a lot, which I freaking love. That they're they're both just smart and can bring something to the table other than
They're
fighting.
very synergetic.
Yes, and we'll soon come to find out that they have a lot of hidden potential between them, especially Katara. Katara definitely gets a lot of moments this first season of how she improves as a waterbender, and because she has a lot of talent,
Right.
she breaks an iceberg. She's able to control a small bubble with the limited amount of practice that she can have for living in such a small water tribe with no other waterbenders in there to help her learn or teach her.
Right. So, in my opinion, I think episode 2 starts off really great. We already started learning a lot in regards to just what we can take away from the episode and learning more on the world, like the Avatar world.
The lore, yeah.
Right. Even with the interaction with Appa when Sokka and Katara are rescuing Aang, we see Sokka, being a little bit of a negative
Debbie Downer.
Yeah, like a Debbie Downer for Appa wanting to or trying to fly. Katara's comforting him, but then Sokka just like, what if I just try it?
Yeah.
Just give it a shot. And then he's flying and he gets super excited. And that's one of the moments that we see where Sokka's going through this metamorphosis of, this is going to be my first adventure. I'm super excited. And Sokka tries to keep a cool head, but we'll come to find out that Sokka can't really do that. And he's going to, be on this journey just as much as Katara and Aang are.
Right.
So now that Aang is like escaping the ship, we really get to see how inexperienced like firebenders are when fighting with fighting airbenders. Because like, when was the last time they've had to fight an airbender?
That's a good point.
100 years.
Exactly. Like it's
And
an entirely.
and to be honest, they've never really fought airbenders before.
Yeah, they
because
clapped them.
Airbenders are pacifists. They have
Yeah.
no reason to fight.
Exactly. But like it goes to show, yeah, Aang may not know how to fight against a firebender, but the matchup is just worse for firebenders.
Right. He's got speed. He's got air control. Air can blow away fire. So
now that we're also at this this part where Aang encounters Zuko, like Aang never, he, like you were saying, airbenders are pacifists. Like he never really like engages with him. He's always using his own attacks against him, or he's using like evasive maneuvers.
Right.
or
Yeah.
like this incredible sequence where he just uses his weight to just stay behind him. That way Zuko can't attack him.
Yeah, and you see,
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah,
The
he
way
put
he put the air around it so he can close the fire.
yeah, I was telling Dan about that earlier
Yeah,
too.
suffocate the fire.
Yeah,
If it doesn't
that's-
have oxygen, it can't do it.
And
So we already see that Aang is a experienced airbender.
Yes.
Despite not wanting to fight, he knows what to do in these situations, and he tries to solve the fight as peacefully as he can, using a mattress, which we're watching right now, and totally gets the better of Zuko. And Aang with his super fast speed, Zuko just has no idea what to do in this situation.
But also, like, Zuko, when he's fighting Zuko, like, especially season 1, Zuko is always the first person to throw out an attack. Like,
Yes.
he's just, like, so, the word I'm looking for is, like, hellbent on, like, getting him. Is he'll do anything possible. He doesn't really stop to think, all right, how do I, like, make this situation in my favor?
Right.
Yeah,
Aang is about to escape off the ship with his glider, and the first instinct Zuko does is, let me jump off the bow of the ship and
Just to try to catch him.
and get his leg, and he succeeds. And we first time watcher of the show might not understand why Zuko is so desperate to get the Avatar, but we'll learn later why. But it just goes to show that Zuko is, this is his one mission in life. He just jumped off the command tower of a ship to try to get Aang. And, we almost see Aang defeated. He gets a nice fire blast to the face and he's in the water. But Katara and Sokka are...
here it comes, the Avatar state.
Yes, and the Avatar state,
I
we
love
see it in
Defense.
full action. He's waterbending. We're like, whoa, okay, hold on.
Exactly, because he didn't know how to do any other bending before, and
Right,
all of a sudden,
we would have seen him waterbend at some point,
right?
To show Katara that he can do it. But in this state, the glowy tattoos, the glowing eyes, we see that he is just a powerful force, and that when he goes into this state, not a lot of people can deal with it.
I freaking love his Avatar state.
Yes, so
It's
good.
a cheat though.
It really is.
It's a cheat if you especially
Abuse
if you can go in and out of it.
Which he cannot.
Yes,
This is a fight or flight Avatar state for Aang still.
Yeah.
Would you guys abuse the power that the Avatar has if you had it?
No, there's no reason to.
Because to be honest,
Unless you have to.
You get taught not to.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
frowned upon if you do.
Yeah. And I guess
Avatar.
obviously if you don't know what you're doing, you can definitely hurt yourself or
Exactly. Hurt other people.
possibly end, because there is a way to end the Avatar cycle.
So if you I don't know if this is going too much into the lore, but I guess not really. But if you die in the Avatar state, the Avatar line is cut off.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
So you definitely can't just go around
Willy nilly.
Yeah.
Especially in a fight, it's to get you out of a desperate situation, because you're already supposed to be, good with all the elements.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Aang just knows water or airbending, and inherently with the Avatar state, he knows waterbending. But we see Katara already showcasing some of her powers of ice, and not being really well to control it, but she's able to maneuver it in a way where she can do it and solve this situation.
It's what works for her.
Ooh, that combo.
Also, yes, and we also get to see this amazing scene where Iroh and Zuko, tag team and throw a fireball at him, and we just see the strength of Aang when he wants to save people. Airbending we see is super strong. He just blew away a fireball, knocked down a glacier with the fireball, and it just spilled right onto the ship. And Zuko is furious. And Iroh, being the awesome guy that he is, just tells Zuko, hey, good news. He's just a kid. But Zuko, counteracts by saying, this kid just did this. He just almost wrecked our ship.
Oh, I hated Zuko.
Season one, Zuko is
He's
so
rude. You're supposed to hate Zuko.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to like
No,
Zuko.
yeah.
That is the antagonist.
No, but some people out there do prefer the antagonist over the protagonist, which I
That's
don't
fair.
understand why.
But I can't imagine the creators creating Zuko to be liked in this first season.
nah.
Yeah.
He just broods over and over. It's season one and half of season two. Zuko is just
But Zuko,
I must find the
Zuko
Avatar.
gets some character development in this season.
some.
No,
In this season.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
season.
yeah.
Okay.
Compared to what we'll see in future seasons.
Yes.
Definitely a little bit.
End of season one, yeah, definitely.
And now, at the end of the episode, we have a nice amber sunset coming in. A nice imagery for Aang telling Katara and Sokka that he's the Avatar. And the only way he can bring balance to the world is if he learns all four elements. So now they're on this quest. First thing they're going to is the Northern Water Tribe to try to... Well, actually, they're going to the Southern Air Temple first.
Yeah.
Because Aang has some memories to do.
Attend to.
Yeah, we'll find that out next episode. But their main goal is to get to the Northern Water Tribe for Aang and Katara to learn and master waterbending.
Right.
So that'll be a common thread that we see in the show. Each season is named after the element that Aang needs to learn. So first season is water, second season is earth, and third season is fire. So we're gonna have a nice progression of him learning these elements, and the stories and the adventures and the lessons that are to be learned from watching this amazing show.
Yes.
But that was episode 2. What do you guys take from that?
Again, I really did like this episode because you learn a lot of you can slowly see how the character development starts to arise, especially with Sokka.
Hey, man, M. Night Shyamalan, come on.
Wow. No Sokka here.
Especially Sokka, when he originally obviously was all against Aang. Yo, what's wrong with me? He was against Aang. And then all of a sudden he's like, you know what, let's go. I think he realized how powerful Aang really is. Or
realize how important, right,
Sokka definitely learned some respect for Aang.
Yeah.
Seeing, he just blew away that fireball and saved us.
Right.
Okay,
and
let's go.
I got a lot more respect for Aang this episode as well because we got to see him in combat and he's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal airbender and combatist. What is it? Combatant.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very formidable in battle,
right.
especially when, his friends and because himself is on the line, but and that's what the Avatar state is for. But you can see really when he's protecting the people that he loves, we see a true, we see a true determined side of Aang.
Right.
I'll say
he will do anything to protect his friends.
Yes,
right.
And as the series goes on, we just get more and more and more of that. So, but that was the first episode of the Order of the White Lotus. I'm excited to continue this. I know you guys are excited too. Right?
Very
Absolutely.
excited.
Awesome.
You have no idea.
Just wait until we get more into episodes.
Yes, and for the audience listening at home, I thank you for listening to this new show. Please share it with whoever you think might be interested in Last Airbender. Please don't be afraid to go and watch the show. There's plenty of DVDs out there that you can watch it on. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. I think.
Yeah.
Yes,
There's
there's PlayStation.
So you can
Nickelodeon
now.
Network.
I was currently I think Nickelodeon and Amazon have a deal. So majority of Nickelodeon shows are on Amazon Prime.
They are.
Or all of them. I don't really know, but you can start like a free trial, like a 7-day trial for the Nickelodeon aspect or portion of Amazon Prime. Because you get Amazon.
Yeah, you do.
Prime Video.
Yeah.
You get Prime Video free with Amazon Prime. And then you have to pay for the Nickelodeon section of it.
Yeah, that's how Perky watched. That's how Perky watched the series.
Right.
Okay.
So I think it's definitely worth it. It'll bring back so much nostalgia for you guys. You have no idea.
Yeah, and if you've never watched it before and you need a great story, looking at the show, you'll see a lot of cartoonish visuals. Yes, the comedy is for kids,
Right.
But the story and the lessons learned are for kids and adults alike.
For sure.
So this is really a fascinating story that you will not regret starting and finishing. And then if you're satisfied with that, you can check out Legend of Korra, which is just more
intense and mature.
Yeah, mature version of The Last Airbender. So.
Yep, which we will be getting into obviously as the season progresses.
Yes, as the episodes progress, we will get further and further into this lore and backstory of this amazing franchise. But this has been Dan, Joel.
Actually, before we wrap it up, I want to just give out one disclaimer.
Yeah.
Or sort of like a disclaimer. Obviously, we recorded the first episode approaching a nationwide lockdown. So we kind of wanted to pretty much give this episode out as for people who kind of just want something to listen to or something to do while we're all being quarantined. I'm sure everyone knows what we're talking about. I hope you're not living under a rock. But so we may or may not have another episode for maybe whoever knows how long, because we won't be able to see each other unless we figure out a way to record while we're all separate.
Right.
But that's just a little bit of a disclaimer.
Yeah, then and if it does come to pass that we are able to pump out the episodes, then we'll just have to keep doing it.
Expect one every week then, if that's the case.
Absolutely. So like I said before, it's gonna be 2 episodes per podcast episode. So next episodes we got our 3 and 4. This has been Dan, Joel, Zion, Markim. You guys have a great day, great night. Stay safe, stay clean in this time of isolation, and don't be stupid.
Facts.
Bossing, see you later.
Bossing, see you later.
That was really stupid.
Please edit that out.